8 o'clock here in Douala, the regional capital of the littoral province, and welcome to the news on Canal de English. I am Elie Smith. Good evening. First, West regional capital of Bamenda is in turmoil as the inhabitants of the city say no to a planned FPDM so-called unity rally. The former ADC to the Speaker of Parliament, Kavayege Jibril, and his boss are now in court. Why? The reasons will be given in this newscast. While part of the country is in flames, the presidential couple were celebrating at the Unity Palace. With whom? With the vice champions of the African Female Nations Cup. Those were the headlines. The court case pitting Buba Simala, the former aide de camp or ADC, to Speaker of Parliament Kavayege Jibril, has opened this morning in Yaoundé, but immediately it was postponed. Why? That is where, or that is what our correspondent in Yaoundé, Tabby Clarkson, attempts to give us an answer.
Captain Buba Simala was at the military court in Yaoundé this Thursday. The former bodyguard of the President of the House of Assembly, Kavayege Jibril, is accused for attempting to kidnap his former boss. Accusations that Buba Simala has refuted to the fullest.
Listen, the fact is that in that case of Buba Simala against Mr. Kavayege Jibril, we have one person that since 2 years is in prison. And the only thing that Mr. Simala, Buba, is asking to this country and to the justice of Cameroon is to be judged. That is his right. That is a human right, to be judged in a good delay. Unfortunately, the case of Buba Simala has been postponed since 1 year because of the fact that Mr. Kavayege Jibril is pretending that the judge that was knowing the case is not doing his job very well.
For over a year now, the matter has on several occasions been postponed for one reason or the other.
The case of Buba Simala and Kavayege Jibril is a very simple case. The judge has passed a decision intra petita. We, the lawyers of Kavayege Jibril, have made the appeal. Now we are waiting for the decision of the Court of Appeal. We have asked to change the judge because of suspicion. We are waiting. The law is painful, but it's the law.
As a reminder, it was in May last year that the captain was arrested for his alleged attempt to kidnap Kavayege Jibril, who happens to be his uncle. The kidnap was to be done while the president of the house was on his way to exercise some sporting activities. The matter will be heard in court again on December 28, 2016.
Okay. News from Bamenda, Northwest Regional Capital of Cameroon is not good, as an angry crowd stormed the street to disrupt a CPDM so-called peace rally that was scheduled to take place today. And we'll be going live to Bamenda to have an update on the situation. And our correspondent from Bamenda is Collins Anye Collins Anyen. Good evening, Anye Collins. How are you doing?
Yes, Smith, welcome to Bamenda. Good evening.
Good, great. Now, can you please update us on the situation in Bamenda this evening?
Yes, Smith, as I speak, I'm still on the streets of the regional capital, Bamenda, where it has been a hot day indeed in Bamenda today. Nobody, I think even the 1990s and the 1992 post-election violence would not have registered what we saw in Bamenda today. Everybody is saying it is the talk of every lip in Bamenda. But as I speak to you, of course, there's relative calm. I'm hanging out here at the hospital roundabout, just something like 100 meters from the regional hospital, Bamenda, where troops have been stationed, and they have been seen into the situation of the Azeri youths who, for the past 2 days, have put up a stiff resistance against the security forces here. Nobody could believe that boys out here could hold on to security forces for more than 4 hours. That security forces could not penetrate the quarters. So that is where I am now, because it's a boiling point in Bamenda. But for the rest of the day today, it was an exchange between tear gas and, of course, an exchange between protesters and security forces with tear gas and stones flying in the air, and any other person moving on the streets. We needed to be very careful for you not to be pelted by any of the stones that were flying in the air, or the tear gas canisters that also went in the air from the bayonets of the police. So, as we can say, for the balance sheet, for now, there's one person dead, even though I heard the minister in charge of special duties at the presidency, Atanganji Paul, spoke about 2 persons. That is when we were hanging out at the grandstand commercial avenue. I'm talking about 1 person, because that's the corpse that I saw by with my naked eyes.
All right.
And, of course,
Collins, just one moment. I'm sorry to interrupt you. There's one question I wish to ask about the casualties. On social media, there are claims that about 3 people are reported to have been killed. Can you confirm that?
Well, just as I was saying before you interrupted me, I can corroborate that. I'm talking about the corpse that I saw, 1 corpse that I saw, that even though, as I was saying, Minister Tanganji Paul talked about 2 persons dead, as at this afternoon, where we were still hanging out at the grandstand commercial avenue, where the rally, the CPDM rally, finally did not at all take place. We even did not find 1 person with a CPDM fabric on them.
Okay.
But,
all right, I'm sorry again to interrupt you about Mr. Tanganji. Is he in the Northwest Province?
Yes, he's here in the Northwest region representing Bamenda. He was with us at the grandstand commercial avenue where the rally was supposed to take place, and he actually insisted time and again that the rally must take place. And finally, the rally didn't take place, and because of the insecurity, even soldiers with whom we spoke off camera in informal conversations told us that really the rally couldn't take place during the security situation that was at hand. The whole of Commercial Avenue, that is from T Junction to City Camp about, was full of stones and fire, burning tires and other materials that were being burnt on the streets of Bamenda. So that was a situation that rally really could not hold. Even if Minister Taranji had the bovine to come to the rally, in fact, those ministers and the Prime Minister and the Secretary General of the CPDM could not have made it to the Commercial Avenue. It was quite insecure for them to have made it to the Commercial Avenue. And before we left the Commercial Avenue, there were already security dispositions being taken for the ministers who are hanging out in hotels who came for the rally. Security dispositions were already being taken for them to be evacuated. I don't know where maybe out of town or to other safer locations. That is some of the pieces of information that we could gather today from the Commercial Avenue grandstand, where it all was empty, the thousands of chairs kept there.
So to conclude this our interview, the so-called peace rally that was supposed to have been held today in Bamenda did not take place. Well, we have an interruption there with our correspondent in Bamenda, Anyi Collins Anyi, but we'll be coming back to have another phone call there with a person who is supposedly held hostage at the Bamenda Regional Hospital. We'll be coming back on that event soon. But so we want to thank Anyi Collins Anyi for that update on the situation in the regional capital of the Northwest, which is Bamenda, where the so-called peace rally that first took place in Boya in the Southwest region, and then in Bamenda, it has failed because of the youth of the city who did not want it to be held. And according to unofficial report, the problem of the youth of Bamenda is not about the so-called rally, but of one man. And the man's name is Atanga Nji, that the people of the Northwest, in particular in Bamenda, do not want to see in that regional capital. We'll be leaving that story while waiting to see if we could get to to talk with the person in the regional capital who is held hostage. And this is a couple, in fact, at the regional capital in Bamenda, and whose son and daughters are somewhere else, and they are held there because they were being suspected, and people suspect that that hospital was where some of the government ministers were being held or are hiding. Before coming back on that story, let's go on another story. This time around, it is about diamonds. Last week, a report from an NGO based in Canada accused Cameroon of serving as a transit hub for diamonds from the war-torn Central African Republic. Now, officials at the Cameroon Secretariat have said the report published last Friday by the NGO calling itself Partnership Africa Canada is unfounded. For more, Ntarike Divine.
Officials at the Cameroon branch of the Kimberley process are refuting claims that the country has been serving as a transit hub for illicit diamonds from the conflict-ridden Central African Republic. The reactions follow a December 2 report by the Ottawa-based Partnership Africa Canada, claiming that the 900-kilometer porous border between Cameroon and the CAR, weak controls, and above all the corrupt nature of officials in Cameroon have contributed in easing international market access for large shipments of illicit diamonds from the Central African Republic. Trade in Central African Republic diamonds was embargoed under the Kimberley process, which seeks to halt the sales of diamonds from conflict zones after rebels toppled President Francois Bozize in 2013. Last year, the Kimberley process allowed a resumption of diamond sales sourced only from areas in the country free of conflict. But the 36-page Partnership Africa report reveals that refugees have been taking advantage of the unpatrolled border to inject the diamonds into the international market chain from Cameroon. Many among them, the report claims, are issued certificates by Cameroonian authorities in exchange for kickbacks. The report urged the Kimberley process to place Cameroon under special measures for 3 months, during which no diamonds will be exported without export oversight.
And from another story, it doesn't often happen. There's good news. Cameroon overtakes Ivory Coast as the year 2016 gradually makes way for the new year. There are tidings of great joy for especially banana producers across Cameroon. Fresh information released by the Association of Banana Producers of Cameroon stipulates that Cameroon has overtaken the Ivory Coast as the leading producer of the tropical fruit in the African, Caribbean, and Pacific, or ACP group of countries. Once again, Ntarike.
The Association of Banana Producers of Cameroon, abridged ASSOBACAM in French, has revealed that the country has unseated Côte d'Ivoire as the leading producer of the crescent-shaped yellow tropical fruit in the Africa, Caribbean, Pacific or ACP zone. ASSOBACAM says Cameroon's banana production peaked at 278,450 tons last year against 260,000 tons for Côte d'Ivoire. In other words, Cameroon for the first time in history becomes the leading banana supplier from the ACP to the European Union. It now ranks fifth producer worldwide behind Ecuador, Colombia, Costa Rica, and the Dominican Republic. Cameroon's leading producers include La Société de Plantation du Haut-Penja PHP, a subsidiary of the French group Compagnie Fruitière de Marseille, as well as the state-owned Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC. Meantime, on a visit to inspect EU-funded projects in Cameroon's commercial capital, Douala, last week, EU delegation head to Cameroon, Françoise Colette, remarked that the country's banana growers have been benefiting from EU assistance to boost production. She says the ambition is to see Cameroon's banana production grow to between 350,000 to 400,000 tons in the coming years.
Well, from one good agricultural story where for once Cameroon is better than its perennial West African rival Ivory Coast, to another good story. As you already know, the Ngwon Festival is ongoing in Fumban. It is not only an occasion to showcase the rich culture of the Fumbanese people, it is also an occasion to present their agrarian potentials. Our special envoy in Fumban is Kejang Henry Atembe, and he tells us more regarding the mini agric show.
The economy of the Sultanate is largely dependent on agriculture. The principal commercial crops are coffee, corn, peanuts, and string beans. Subsistence crops grown in the Noon division include plantains, bananas, cassava, and yams. With the Ngwon Festival, farmers take advantage to exhibit their farm produce through the agro-pastoral show. Hundreds of farmers converged at the mini agro-pastoral ground to valorize their product for 5 days.
Well, if there was any doubt that Fumban is not only about arts, it is also about agriculture, so they have a great economy there. Cameroon's oil earning exceeds target. At the start of the current year, Cameroon's expected intake from the sales of its crude oil was close to 250 billion CFA franc. But statistics from the National Hydrocarbons Corporation indicates that despite the drop in oil prices in the world market, Cameroon still managed to sell oil worth 266 billion CFA francs. For more, once again, we have the details from Tarike.
Despite the ongoing global financial crunch and tumbling commodity prices on the world market, Cameroon earned 266 billion CFA francs from oil sales between January and October. According to a statement from the National Hydrocarbons Corporation, the figure far exceeds the 247 billion CFA francs target set at the start of the year. A release from the state-owned oil company additionally indicates that over the same period, the country's total oil production stood at 28.6 million barrels. Meantime, between January and December last year, Cameroon's total crude oil production stood at 34.4 million barrels, an increase of 26% compared to the 27 million barrels produced at the end of 2014. Cameroon, which has been pumping oil since 1997, recorded an all-time high in 1985 when production reached 185,000 barrels per day before witnessing a steady decline. In its 2017 budget, set at 4,373.8 billion CFA francs and currently under scrutiny in Parliament, the government is banking on world market oil prices of $40 per barrel for revenue generation.
And we're going back to the West region, precisely in Fumban, where we have, as we had already announced, that the 546th edition of the Ngwon Festival is underway. It is not only about arts or agricultural products, as we had seen. It is also about encouraging creative minds of the indigenes and also non-indigenes who are part of the celebrations in Fumban. And that is what Henry Kejang and Tembe, our special envoy in Fumban, attempts to explain to us.
The 50 best students in the Noon Division have received financial and material assistance from the authorities of the division for their academic performance. The Excellence Award ceremony took place at the Royal Court of the Bamund Sultanate. 40 best primary schools and 33 best secondary schools were compensated through the Circle of Reflection for the development of Noon Sedem. This initiative is out to encourage the children of the Noon Division to pursue their studies to the highest level. Speaking during the ceremony, the organizers said development of the Noon Division can only come through education.
From the West region, we are flying straight to the capital of the Center region, where the presidential couple received in conviviality today the vice female African champions at the Unity Palace. From the Unity Palace, our roving correspondent, Beatrice Ngamo, has more.
President Paul Biya in an Android age. With the vice female African champions, the Lionesses, the head of state could not be indifferent to selfie. All the players wanted to get a shot with the president and at one stage called on him to do so. Beautiful ambience. The First Lady was not left out of the show also. Special moments the presidential couple, Paul and Chantal, had with the vice female champions of Africa. The indomitable Lionesses were today given the kudos they deserve for their brilliant performance in the just ended Female African Cup of Nations hosted by Cameroon. Cameroon says thank you. Cameroon says bravo. Day after day, they fought for their flag and country. You did not win the finals, but you won our hearts and earned our admiration. You obtained with gallantry, beautiful and important victory in the face of tough teams. But through your talents, courage, engagement and other to defend your country, you excited the whole country.
Par votre talent, votre courage, votre engagement et votre ardeur à défendre les couleurs de votre pays.
On behalf of her teammates, the captain, Christine Mani, also thanked the head of state and population for their support, promising to continue to work for the country, their dear fatherland. The vice female African champions had a good and clean record, defeating all their adversaries, conceding no goals, no draw, until the finals when they lost. A big family reunion at the Unity Palace with national dignitaries of the country in attendance also.
While Bamenda is in flames, as you could see, in Yaoundé, there was celebration at the Unity Palace. But to the discharge of the head of the presidential couple, those ladies deserve our respect because compared to the men, they have tried their best. And that is what our correspondent, Tabby Clarkson, says in the following report.
The Lionesses have this Thursday been received at Unity Palace by the President of the Republic and wife, Chantal Biya. Captain Christine Mani and her teammates never knew they will one day have such a pride and honor to be received by the presidential couple. For years and decades, such presidential regards have been granted to the indomitable lions. Today is the turn of women. Is it not often said that what a man can do, a woman can also do, and even do it better? Credos to our girls, they who henceforth will be examples to be emulated. Shoot Njoya Ajara, Abudi Ongeni, Fedje Raisa, Ngono Mani, and Co. are today the pride of an entire people and nation. During the competition, the girls played so well that losing at the finals against the Super Falcons of Nigeria was really a bitter pill to swallow. But the girls have made us proud to belong to this loving country called the Republic of Cameroon. The reception of the Lionesses at Unity Palace is contradictory to that of the Super Falcons of Nigeria. The girls of the green and white colors are still hanging in the hotel in Abuja, waiting on authorities. The Falcons, despite their victory, are still without bonuses, allowances, and above all, the recognition of the state. The Lionesses have done it, and as it is said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Bravo, the Lionesses.
What a man can do, or what men can do, women can certainly do best, as the indomitable Lionesses have proven us. While the indomitable Lionesses get a presidential welcome across the border in Nigeria, the Super Falcons and current champions of the African Women's Nations Cup are on day 3 of their strike over unpaid bonuses. The girls have vowed not to leave their hotel in Abuja until their bonuses are paid. For more on their ordeal, Regan Fomba.
Super Falcons of Nigeria rule Africa's women football scene once again.
Celebrations were superlative after the Super Falcons edged the indomitable Lionesses 1-0 in Yaoundé last December the 3rd to take home their 8th African Women's Cup of Nations trophy. But barely 1 week after the achievement, the euphoria around the victory has been truncated. Trickling reports from Nigeria indicate the players have engaged a sit-in at a hotel in Abuja, vowing they won't leave until they receive the entirety of $23,500 promised them as qualification, participation, and victory bonuses by the Nigerian Football Federation. In fact, the Super Falcons actually traveled to Cameroon empty-handed, despite a pledge by the Federation to pay part of the money. Reacting to fresh bonus protests, officials at the cash-strapped Federation have been pleading with the protesting players to exercise patience, adding the bonuses will be paid as soon as the federal government makes available funds for the purpose. Such embarrassing demonstrations over unpaid bonuses are a frequent occurrence with both the men's and women's selection in Nigeria. Actually, press reports indicate that Super Falcons coach Florence Obamemi has only received 1 month of her salary since she was appointed in March this year.
Well, what a shame. Well, we wish the Super Falcons well, that at last the cash-strapped Nigerian Football Federation should pay them because they deserve their pay. On foreign page, hackers targeted the website of the Ghana's Electoral Commission yesterday, whereas in South Africa, Two white farmers accused of racism have been denied bail. Still in Africa, the giraffe populations have dropped drastically, and in the Middle East, precisely in Syria, in Aleppo, in Syria, hundreds of people have been killed. This foreign page is compiled by our one and only Banlav Modest.
Hackers targeted the website of the Ghana's Electoral Commission after a tight contested election yesterday. The commission said the website is up again. An attempt to put up fake results have failed. People have been urged to ignore the fake results circulating on social media. President John Mahama faced a strong challenge from main opposition leader Nana Akufo-Addo. Final results are expected in the next 2 days. Two white farmers who forced a black man into a coffin on 17 August 2016 in South Africa have been denied bail. The two white farmers forced a black man inside a coffin and threatened to set him on fire for trespassing. They were arrested after a video shot on 17 August began circulating on social media, showing them in act. Magistrate Dome Lely described the incident as shocking, sadistic, and racist. The giraffe population have dropped drastically over the past 30 years in Africa. According to the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, numbers have dropped from 155,000 in 1985 to 97,000 in 2015. This is due to habitat loss, poaching, and civil unrest in many parts of Africa. Dr. Julian Fenese, the founder and executive director of the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, said the creatures are undergoing a silent extinction. Out of the continent, hundreds of people have been killed and tens of thousands displaced by the battle in eastern Aleppo in Syria. The Red Cross says it has evacuated 148 mostly disabled and elderly civilians. 11 others died before they could be reached. This is due to war between forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad and the rebels.
We're going to thank Banlav Modest, and we'll be going back to the regional capital of the Northwest, that is Bamenda, to have one last update with Annie Collins. Annie, good evening again, Annie Collins. How are you doing?
Yes, good evening again, Smith, and welcome to Bamenda.
Okay, there's one precise question that I wish to ask before rounding off this news tonight, is about the controversial Atangana Paul Nji. Is he alive? What is his situation currently?
Yes, it was at about midday when we hung out with him at the Commercial Avenue Grandstand, and he later left, but we don't know where he left for, to be more precise. And it is, I said,
okay. All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to ask you another question. I said one, but there's another question. I want to ask, there is this car that is trending on the social media, alleged to be his car, that was burned today or set alight by angry youth. Can you confirm or not whether it is a car in which Atanga Paul Nji was found?
Well, we have been seeing him riding in a Prado, except because it's official vehicle is a Prado, that we will not say, we can't really say whether the vehicle that was burnt at the gate of the regional hospital belongs to him, except he happens to have moved in another vehicle before we could say that that is the vehicle that was burnt. He simply said that the hospital was besieged because the protesters believe that he happens to be in and taking refuge there. I can't corroborate that. I don't have information. The stance, perfect stance to say something like that, because I can't really say whether it's true.
All right, thank you very much, Anyi Collins Anyi. You are our correspondent, a regional correspondent in the Northwest region. Thank you very much for that update. And it is on that note that we will be putting an end to our newscast today. Bamenda is in turmoil, but sometimes amidst disaster, there are some kind of strange things that happen, like this image. It reminds me of the biblical David and Goliath. Well, you have to know it is not a joke, gentlemen. On this, once again, I may say, let's give peace a chance. And tomorrow is another day, God willing.